Could the Titans be trading for this guy right here, Terry McLaurin? That's what we're talking about on today's show. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. And I've been honestly waiting. I haven't made this video for about a month because I didn't think it was a true rumor. But according to Sports Illustrated, yeah, things are getting pretty real. Mike Kadlick, he named the Titans as one of the 5 best destinations for Washington wide receiver Terry McLaurin. It was 3rd on his list, and it's been pretty slow. But Adam Schefter actually went on Pat McAfee today and talked about it. But let's start at the beginning. About a month ago, when OTA started, when minicamp started, and Ian Rappaport tweeted out that he's looking for a new deal, and he's been away from OTAs, and he's not attending minicamp. So you get fined when you don't attend mandatory minicamp. And Terry McLaurin's like, well, I don't care. I want a new deal. So we went about a month, and then on June 30th, last Monday, Adam Schefter went on Pat McAfee's show and talked about just an update for Terry McLaurin. And he told Pat, well, there is no update on Terry McLaurin, and that's the problem. There's quite a gap between what both sides want right now, and there hasn't been any progress. And when I see this, I'm like, no progress? Well, that gets more and more likely that he's going to request a trade, and it gets more likely that the Commanders are actually going to have to make a trade. So if the Titans ended up making a trade for Terry McLaurin, we got you guys covered. When the Titans make a move, we're going to make a video covering it all. It doesn't matter if it's Terry McLaurin or it doesn't matter if it's anybody else. We're also on our way to 11,000 subscribers. We're just about 171 away. So go ahead, subscribe, Titans Today by Chat Sports, and let's make that goal happen. Here's what Mike Kadlick had to say about just possibility of trading for Terry McLaurin. He said the easiest way to get a rookie quarterback, which is Cam Ward, up to speed is to surround him with proven commodities. And while the Titans made a big splash last season by signing Calvin Ridley to a massive contract, $92 million, they could still use some help in the wide receiver room for number 1 pick Cam Ward. And I'll just say this first off, is that I'm a huge fan of Scary Terry. I mean, even when they were going with quarterbacks like Taylor Heineke and everybody else that's just been going through this entire Washington organization since 2019, Terry McLaurin has been an absolute dog. It doesn't matter who it is. If you throw it up to him, he's going to go down and catch it. And he's getting up there a little bit in age. He's 29 years old. He's getting to be the end, on the way to 30. But he's still been productive throughout his entire career. I just want to say this. When a quarterback is targeting him, the QB has a 133 QB rating when targeted. That's how good Terry McLaurin makes his QBs. If you look at these stats between the last 4 years, 1,000 yards every single year. And when he finally got a QB in Jaden Daniels, look at those touchdown numbers skyrocket. You go from 4 or 5 to 13, 82 receptions. Yeah, not 100 receptions, but he is still a deep threat. And I went swooping around Pro Football Focus to see, all right, well, he's a deep threat. How good is he going to be a deep threat if the Titans were to trade for him to help out Cam Ward? Well, in 2024, his PFF grade of throws 20-plus yards were 99.9. I don't think he'd get any higher than that. 2023, 96.8. 2022, back to 99. And 21, 96.9. That is a 90 PFF grade throughout those last 4 years. One of the best, if not the best, deep ball threat in the NFL. So I think he'd help Cam Ward. I think he would help this offense. And we're going to break that down, even could save Brian Callahan's job down the line. I'll ask you guys, though, should the Titans trade for Terry McLaurin? Go down in the comments right now. You'll probably get an ad break. If you could see Scary Terry in that blue and white, go ahead, type T down in the comments for trade. Or if you don't want, if you like Calvin Ridley, go type P for pass. I think the Titans should highly consider this. Highly. Because you still need some wide receiver help in that room, because Calvin Ridley is not going to be your only guy on this team. Now, we'll break that all down, but first, I got a deal for you guys. I know it's not football season. It's still the summer, but you can see I'm wearing a hoodie, and you can get a Titans hoodie that's now $29.99. It is 60% off. 60% off. $79.99 is that original price, and you can get yours today. You're going to buy it now, save it until the winter when it's actually cold outside. Go to chatsports.com/Titans hoodie. We'll have that in the comments and description of today's video. Rep the Titans. Also, support the show. We get proceeds when you use this link, chatsports.com/Titans hoodie. Once again, we'll have that in the comments and description of today's video. So when you look at this Titans wide receiver room, I mean, it's good. And I think it's a lot improved from last year when you had Westbrook Ikhine, you had Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson. You drafted Alec Manor and Shamiri DK. You have a gem in the for an undrafted free agent in Xavier Restrepo. And I also think Treylon Burks might be here. He might not. I'm not 100% sure. You have Oliver. But let's be honest here. With a rookie quarterback that's going into the worst team in the league, Cam Ward needs all the weapons that he can get. Like, there's no doubt the Titans wide receiver room was terrible last year. And do you really want to go into 2025 with Cam Ward not knowing who to throw to? Yeah, you still got Chigakonkwo. You drafted Gunnar Helm. You have Calvin Ridley. But overall, Calvin Ridley was here last year, and these are the Titans receiving numbers. You can see right here. This is between all the running backs, the wide receivers, and the tight ends. 336 receptions, 26th in the NFL. 3,600 yards, 25th, and 22nd in touchdowns with 16. Like, those aren't good numbers, and do you really want your franchise quarterback to be throwing to just average guys, or do you want to go into this season where you have some guy that can complement? You have Calvin Ridley, but just because you improve the wide receiver room with Tyler Lockett while drafting Alec Manor and getting Van Jefferson, who has been an unrated signing, it doesn't mean you cannot get better. And Pro Football Focus, we talked about the PFF grades with Terry McLaurin. They ranked all the wide receiver rooms going into 2025. And if you look on the right side, the Titans are still 30th in the league. So Pro Football Focus thinks that, yeah, the Titans, they did get better, but they're still one of the worst in the NFL. You're better than the Patriots and you're better than the Browns. But that's not saying something when, besides Jerry Jeudy, I can't really name a Cleveland Browns wide receiver. And besides Stephon Diggs, who's going to be on the Patriots receiving corps? I don't really know. So you got to get better, and a trade for Terry McLaurin would help. Not to mention that, if the Titans don't do well in 2025, if you go into this season and you only win 4 games and you don't look good while doing those 4 games, Brian Callahan could get the boot. You improve this offense with a guy like Scary Terry, that would keep him off the hot seat because you're helping Cam Ward, you're helping him get comfortable in this league. Now, there's just one problem that you're going to have to deal with if you do trade for Terry McLaurin, and that's you're going to have to pay him. He's on an expiring contract, and the reason he's holding out in the first place is because he wants that contract extension. So are you going to be willing to pay him when you're already paying Calvin Ridley $92 million over 4 years? And when it comes to his contract projections, when I look around the NFL, all those media outlets, his contract projection is 3 years, $93 million. So when you look at that, it's like you have Calvin Ridley at 90-something million. You have Scary Terry at 90-something million. The Titans aren't the Bengals. They do not have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins to just be throwing around the cash, and you're like, all right, we got these 3 guys. We're going to be set for the entire. Like, this is not the Bengals. Do you really want to be paying both of those guys that much amount of money when you have no other money to give around? And if the Titans were to go and trade, you have to give them a contract extension. Their salary cap is $30.07 million. You're right on the cusp of getting that deal. So if you get the deal done, you give them $30 million a year, you're probably going to have to either trade a player in that possible trade that you would do. Maybe you can give them, hey, well, Treylon Burks is kind of meh. You can take him off our charts. I don't know. But you're going to have to either cut or trade a player to get under the salary cap to play him. So do you really want to do that whole entire situation? I don't really know. I'll ask you guys this, because the big problem in my eyes is that you're paying 2 wide receivers $90 million. Would you guys be okay with paying 2 wide receivers over $90 million? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments section. Me personally, like all of this talk about, I would love Terry McLaurin to be paired up with Cam Ward. I'd love to see Calvin Ridley and Scary Terry on both sides of the field, but I don't think that the Commanders are just going to be willing to give up Scary Terry. Why would you give up one of your top targets to a growing NFL quarterback that's going into his second year and thrived with him? Why would you just let Terry McLaurin walk? If I'm the Commanders, that would be the dumbest decision to possibly make. So overall, I think they're going to end up signing an extension. I think they're going to help out Jaden Daniels and be a successful franchise because you just can't let that dude walk. That's going to do it for the latest episode of Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If the Titans make a move, we have got you covered. And as always, tighten up.